Red. And I don't ever want to call a court biased, so I won't call it biased. And we haven't had a decision yet. But courts seem to be so political. And it would be so great for our justice system if they would be able to read a statement and do what's right.
That's right. And they go, oh my gosh, a president's never attacked the court like this. It's fascism. When there have been Supreme Court justices and people arrested and put on house arrest by presidents. And I'm not calling for things Lincoln did. But it's like, hey, you're legislating from the bench. You're not supposed to do that. This law, a 5-year-old can understand that. Forget a bad high school student. And then they just sit there with a straight face going, no, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that because he's trying to block somebody because of their religion specifically. No, from unvetted nations that have a cult version of that religion that says you should blow yourself up to kill the infidels. And we've all seen what's happening with that. And by the way, coming up today, we have one of the big whistleblowers coming on who came out 2 years ago. We have a guest joining us, Philip Haney, who is a high-level analyst for the Customs Department, and he goes over the memos they were given, being told, do not even say that Muslim extremism exists, or ask someone if they're part of Islamic Jihad, or part of Hamas, or part of the PLO, or part of Hezbollah, because it doesn't exist. And then you saw that on the media, where there'd be terror attacks in San Bernardino or Fort Hood, and they'd say, this wasn't an Islamic attack. They're screaming, Allah Akbar. So this is the mind control. And again, you want to see the style of it. Look at Germany. Look at Sweden. Look at France, where it is mass Stockholm syndrome. And people are into worshiping their abusers. They're into self-loathing, and it's a form of cuckolding. It is. The women go out and hand flowers out to the jihadists, and after there's mass rapes and grovel, and again, I hate Germany, I hate Sweden, I hate France, I want to submit to you. And the imam of Jerusalem gets up on TV and says, they are weak in Europe. Their women are ours. We will take them, and we will take over with the children. The West is going to fall. Praise be to Allah. Everyone's like, we worship you. Just destroy us, kill us. It's mass cultural suicide. And then Trump dares stand up against it, and they just squeal and yell and lie. And It's like when he fired the new attorney general that was an interim attorney general because she wouldn't follow his legal order. They went, Monday Night Massacre, CNN. Unprecedented hatred and evil. But because they can't debate us, they're trying to censor us everywhere. So let's go to Alan Dershowitz, big liberal lawyer, but he's saying, no, Trump has the power to do what he's doing. Again, this is a war against the delusionals and those of us that are in the fact-based reality world. And there's right-wingers that are just as bad, like Karl Rove, saying he controls reality. He didn't control reality when I confronted him in an airport. He was basically pissing his pants. Let's go, just from questions, let's go ahead and go to this Alan Dershowitz clip.
I think you could have made a much stronger argument on the whole Establishment Clause issue. Here you have the United States government taking the position that this is Islamic terrorism, as distinguished from the prior administration. That's their position. It's Islamic terrorism. Why should anybody be surprised that the 7 nations are nations of Islam? Consider what was one of the greatest successes in American history, the War Refugee Board in 1944, that was focused on specifically rescuing Jews, because Jews were the victims of Nazism. And here you have a statute that specifically focuses on rescuing minority religions. That could be Sunnis and Shia countries, could be Kurds, could be... This is not an Establishment Clause violation. And I'm shocked that the government did not make a stronger argument for that.
Now let's expand on something here, too. Syria, before the globalist pogrom to drive the Christians out, the UN admits persecution of Christians is at all-time highs, was roughly 20% Christian. If you go look at who Obama let out, it's something like 0.2, 0.4, depending on the period. They won't let Christians get out. Most of them are actually Sunnis. They don't really let Shiites get out either. This is a resupply effort of the failed Sunni Wahhabist armies that came in from all over the world, from Chechnya, Saudi Arabia, North Africa, for the great Hajj of jihad. Because in the House of Islam is the House of Islam. Outside the house is the House of War. And so they came to get living space. They came to get new land. They came to invade and take the prosperous country of Syria, just as the Saudi Arabians had done in the last century. And so they came in and they got their ass kicked. So they had to have Turkey and Merkel and everybody open the doors, advertise, have the media, stage little dead kids on the side of the beach and say, come on, come on, come on, come on, bring down Europe. Let's get it going. EU, let's collapse this sucker. And it's in all the loving EU documents. Peter Sutherland, we're going to end the homogeneity of Europe. Anti-white, racist garbage. We'll be back. Stay with us.